So, guys, today, welcome to we are going to episode 7 today. And it's a special episode to me for two reasons. First off, it will be the very first episode that I don't have the full script written because I had something came up yesterday and I didn't have enough time today to finish the script. But I know what I want to talk with you guys, and I have some things here, so I think I'll be fine. But of course, we'll be talking about grief. So if you guys want to share on the chat, as always, share in the chat your grieving process or a time in your life that you had to navigate through grief, which is the theme for today. Go ahead and we'll share experiences, and I think that's the best way we can do. On all these themes that I'm presenting here. Of course, I'm presenting my point of view, but thing is, when we talk about emotions or feelings or thoughts or all these things, they are very personal, right? And there's no right or wrong way to do things. We just have to figure out what works for us. So if you guys want to share your experiences, that's great. We can learn with each other and grow with each other, and I think that's the best way that we can do. So that's the first reason why this stream is special, because it's not fully planned. It won't be fully planned. The second is because it's the very first time that I'll be presenting a song that was written after my breakup. So all the songs that I presented until now were songs that I written a long time ago. And this one, it was written actually in last April. It was a hard time for me, and many things happened around March and April, and I'll be talking about that. That originated this song. My heart still skips a beat when I see a car that looks like yours. My heart still skips a beat. Your presence lingers like a dark force. It's like a song on repeat. I think the stereo's broken, and I know that it's time to move on, but I guess I don't know how to. I don't know how to. I don't know how to. No one ever brought me like this, and I guess that I can't fix it. I can't fix it. No one can fix me. My heart still skips a beat when I see a picture of you. Although it's not you anymore, it's just a shadow of who you once were. My friends keep telling me someday it's gonna be okay, but every day's a fucking same. And I know that I should let you go, but I guess I don't know how to. I don't know how to. I don't know how to. All my pieces are too scattered, and I guess that I can't fix it. I can't fix it. No one can fix this. And I know that, and you know that All right, there you go, guys. That was My Heart Still Skips a Beat. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the episode 7 of Musical Reflections of a Slightly Conscious Being. I'm Sandra, a music artist that is on a journey towards consciousness, and I just shared the song My Heart Still Skips a Beat that sets the theme for today, which will be grief. So, like I said before, this song was written in April, so it's the most recent song I've shown here. And April was a very emotional month for me. So, for several reasons. First, if I was still on my relationship, we would be celebrating 17 years together. And also, the month before, in March, that's when I moved in where I am right now. I also signed the legal papers of the house that, I let go of my former house. It was a house that I thought it would be the last house that I would be till the rest of my life. And I decided, and I had to let go of it. I decided I knew it was the right thing to do. And when I went there to the house for the very last time, there were many things that were already different. Ricardo changed a lot of things around, and of course it's his right, it's his house, but going there and seeing that the house was already so different. And also, back then I realized that my former partner was already seeing someone else. That caused a lot of feelings, of course. I have to say I was torn. I didn't feel just a feeling. I was torn. There were many things. There were anger. There was anger. There was sadness, and also there was still love. There was still love, even though we were not together anymore. So something I said before and I said this to my former partner a lot of times, and it resumes pretty much all my former relationship, was that I never doubted that I loved my former partner, even in the worst times. But the doubts I always had was that if I was ever going to be happy, if we ever going to find happiness together. That was always my doubt. And I could see that that was something that was hurting me, and it was hurting him too. But I felt like he couldn't let go. And so I felt, okay, I can see this. My former partner couldn't see it. So it will have to be me. It will have to be me to end this. And I ended the relationship not only because of me, but also because of him, because I could see that he wasn't happy either. But I never doubted when I was on the relationship. I never doubted. And even after it, when I was going through the grieving phase, I never doubted that I still loved him. That was never my doubt. But thing is, sometimes love isn't enough, right? And this is the thing that sometimes we are programmed to believe it is. Like, we see that on movies, like, yeah, if there's love, we can do everything together. You just need love, and all you need is love, by the Beatles, right? But sometimes, no matter how strong our love for someone is, we need to love ourselves more. And what I mean by this is that we need to accept that people's definition of love is different. And people love in different ways, and people have different goals for what they want in relationships. And when those goals and that kind of love and that way of loving someone is not compatible with our own, it doesn't matter how much you love that person, it will never work. If people are not willing to compromise in seeing things as they are, it will not work. And I didn't stop feeling that love when we broke up, but I realized that it was the greatest act of love that I could do for both of us. It was to let go and to understand that it was the best thing for us, for both of us, even though he couldn't see it. Because in the end, letting go, it was what allowed us to have the chance to have the relationship we wanted with someone else. Since it was clear to me that we couldn't have it together. And I think now it's also clear to him. It's just, I think I got there first. Letting go of someone or something while there's still love, that's what leads to grief, basically. Sometimes we lose the one or the thing we love when someone dies. Or, for example, imagine, you guys know I love my car. Now, I was talking about things specifically, because you can grieve things as well. I had to grieve my former house. So if I lose my car, imagine that I have a car, that I am, gosh, I hope not. But imagine that if I'm involved in an accident or something and I lose my car, not by my choice, right? But it happens. Or when I was saying when someone dies. But sometimes we have to choose to let go of what or who we love, because we realize that's the best way to go. So we choose to let go of something or someone while there's still love. And of course, that also leads to grief, because there's still love, right? My cousin showed me a picture the other day. My cousin was very, very close to my grandma, a lot more than me. I lived further away, so they had, my grandma was like a mom for her. And when my grandma passed away, she suffered a lot, and she's still grieving my grandma. It's a process, right? And she showed me something, that grief is feeling so much love, being left with so much love to give to someone or to something, but we cannot give because that person or that something is no longer in our lives. And that's beautiful. And I think that's the exact definition of grief. So I had to talk about this, because that's the way we explain this song. And that's the way I will analyze this song. So let's start with the lyrics. And I will speak the lyrics, and then we'll analyze them. I'll just write here on the chat. There's nothing I can do about. Sorry, guys. There's nothing I can do here. Connection is fine. It must be YouTube. All right. So let's look at the lyrics. My heart still skips a beat when I see a car that looks like yours. My heart still skips a beat. Your presence lingers like a dark force. It's like a song on repeat. I think the stereo's broken. And I know that it's time to move on, but I guess I don't know how to. No one ever broke me like this, and I guess I can't fix it. No one can fix me. My heart still skips a beat when I see a picture of you. Although it's not you anymore, it's a shadow of who you once were. My friends keep telling me someday it's going to be okay. But every day's the fucking same. And I know that I should let you go, but I guess I don't know how to. All my pieces are too scattered, and I guess I can't fix it. No one can fix this. And I know that, and you know that, you and I could never work out, but my heart still holds on to this picture I painted of us, a distorted illusion, a dream that never came true. So those are the lyrics, guys. And I think it's pretty straightforward that, there was still that feeling, even though we were no longer together, there was still that feeling that you feel, when you love someone, and sometimes that person comes in and your heart feels like skips a bit. And there was always that person in my mind, as I say, your presence lingers like a dark force. It was just like that. I just couldn't. That person was part of my life for so many years. And so even though we broke up, that person was still in my life, even though not physically, but it was in my mind a lot. And then in the chorus, I say, I know that it's time to move on, but I guess I don't know how to. And then I say, no one ever broke me like this, and I guess I can't fix it. No one can fix me. And this is a big one because back then, I talked about this before. There was a time that immediately after I broke up the relationship, I started dating other guys, and immediately I realized that I wasn't ready. I couldn't. It's like I was frozen. I couldn't feel anything towards anyone. And so that's why I say no one can fix me, because of course, and no one can fix you. You have to fix yourself. And so it's just a realization. But here I say I can't fix it either, because that's what I felt back then. I was a bit thinking that I'm a person that I like to be on the move. I hate having things unsolved, but some things do just take time, and it's just the way things are. And it's just, there's just no way to rush the process, and grief is just a process that you can't rush. But yeah, I was getting a bit impatient. And I guess also seeing that my former partner was moving on so quickly, and I was like, but I can't move on. It's just, it doesn't make sense. So yeah. And then on the second part, I say my heart still skips a beat when I see a picture of you. Although it's not you anymore, it's a shadow of who you once were. So in here I say something that I do feel like that was a huge shift when we broke up, and I could see that shift on the person, on my former partner. I felt like he changed a lot. I don't know, and I think it wasn't only towards me. I did have the same feedback from some of our common friends. But I guess that's just the way things are when we are in a relationship. Sometimes we change a lot. We change a bit of who we were, and I guess it was part of our grieving process also to rediscover ourselves, especially because we've been together for so long. So it's just a process of rediscovering who we are without that person. And I think grief is also that, this just rediscovering who we are. And of course, that's what happened, So I felt like it wasn't him anymore. It wasn't the person that it was with me anymore. And I still feel that. It's just, I say, a shadow of who you once were, because it's just not the same. And then I say, my friends keep telling me someday it's going to be okay, but every day is the ducking same. Let's say duck today. Let's say duck now. And it's just like that. Yeah, people was, and here's something that, I felt like there were many people like trying to help, and I've grieved a relationship before, and it's just like that. You'll see, you'll be okay. But the thing is, I never had anyone close to me that were so many years on a relationship. I had people that had grieved relationships, people that were together for 3, 4, 5 years, and that had multiple relationships. I only had one relationship and lasted for 16 years. So it wasn't the same thing. And I do feel, of course, it takes longer. It takes longer. It was a different type of connection. So of course it would take longer. But I guess that's just the way things go. But I did feel it was a lonely process. Then later, I actually realized that my childhood best friend, she was also grieving a relationship of 14 years, and she had 2 kids on that relationship. So it was even harder for her, because there was this extra layer of feelings. There were 2 kids involved. So of course, it's even harder. But it was great to talk with her. And it took her 1 year to move on. It took her 1 year for her to feel ready to start seeing someone else. And that gave me a lot of peace. That showed me, okay, yeah, the longer the relationship, and this is actually true if you search online, the longer the relationship, usually the more time you need. Of course, it's not the same for everyone, but usually that's what happens. The longer you are with someone, the longer you need to grieve the relationship. And then in the second chorus, so this song has, every chorus is different. So on the second chorus, I don't know, and I know that I should let you go, but I guess I don't know how to. All my pieces are too scattered, and I guess I can fix it. No one can fix this. So again, it's just basically the same meaning of the first one, is that I know that I should let go, but I don't know how to. And then on the final chorus, I get to the conclusion that we both know that there was no way we could be happy together. But then I mentioned that my heart still holds on to this picture I painted of us, a distorted illusion, a dream that never came true. So this is actually my favorite part of the song, the greatest realization of the song is that my heart was still holding on to this future, this reality, that this picture that I painted, that I thought it was possible, but it was only a distorted illusion of the reality. Because the reality, our relationship was always dysfunctional. So it was kind of a dream that never came true. And I did my best, but and I know he did his best in his own way as well. But it's just what happens sometimes. It just doesn't work out, and that's it. So, guys, again, I'm so sorry about the difficulties today. Nothing I can do, so I'll just keep moving. Hopefully, on the replay, it will be okay. Let's see. So, there are many theories about grief, and many people talk about the 5. Some people say there are 5 stages of grief. Sometimes mention 7. I do feel it depends. Of course, these are guides, but this is not a fixed process. What happens is that some people go through all these stages of grief. Some people just go towards just go on one or another. Some people don't go on these stages through order. Sometimes you go through to one stage and then you go back to the previous stage. And I noticed this. I cannot tell you because I wasn't thinking, oh, today I'm feeling this or today I'm feeling that. But just to clarify, so the 5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. If you talk about the 7 stages, we talk about shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, testing, and acceptance. I do feel the 7 stages make more sense than the 5, even though the first of the 7, it's always shock. It's just like when you get the news, or when you decide that, okay, I have to let go of this thing. That was my case. I had to let go. For my former partner, it was the shock of the decision that we were going to break up. So in his case, it was an involuntary grief. In my case, it was a voluntary grief. It doesn't make it any easier. I do feel I had an extra layer of emotions to deal with because I had the responsibility because I ended it. It was my choice. It was my decision. So in that case, I do feel I had an extra layer of feelings to work with. But that's my way of seeing it, of course. So the first is the shock, and the shock is easy to understand, right? Is like when you are not even feeling anything because you are just so shocked. And I remember that phase I went through in December. So I think we broke up in November, the last days of November. So almost one year ago, yeah. And during December, I think we were both in shock because I came to my home city here, and I remember I was still in a place that I couldn't even think and I couldn't even decide anything. I was just, it's like I couldn't feel anything. And when I went back, I went back on December 31st. Yes, I went back to Coimbra to to get back to work. I had some things to do, and I had my studio there. And of course, I mean, it was still the house. It was still my house, and I remember when I got there, he was still pretty much in shock. He was still not taking that it was the real deal, and we were going to break up. And it was really hard for me because I felt a lot of anger because I just I think I was beginning to be on, wasn't even denial. I think I went through shock, denial, and anger really quick. And in 1 month, I was already in anger, and it was still on shock or denial. And I remember that was a really hard time, and I decided, okay, I have just to organize things, and we have to go into different places because it's not going to work out. And it was being really emotionally heavy for me. So, I went into anger pretty much after a month. About bargaining, there was still a time that I felt like, because I didn't know where I was going to stay. I knew that I was going to build my own house. That it was something that came to me, and I think it was in January that I decided that I was going to build my own house. I was going to buy a piece of land, but of course that takes time, and so I needed a place to stay. I didn't want to stay on my parents'. I could. It's just for work is not practical. It doesn't make sense. And I don't know. I've been living alone for such a long time in my life, alone, and of course, then with my former partner. But I just didn't want to move in back with my parents. So I was thinking about how I could organize things, and there was a time that I felt like, okay, maybe I can spend 3 weeks organizing stuff and working from my parents' house, and then I would go back there to the studio. Because in my case, it was even harder because I had the studio, and I need this space to record. I need a quiet space to record. It's impossible on my parents' house. They live in an apartment in the city, busy street. There's movement every day. It's an old apartment. It's an apartment with 50 years. So all the noises in the street, you can listen inside the house. It's just impossible to record there with quality. And I thought about, okay, maybe I could go there and record 1 week per month or something. But of course, it revealed to be impossible. It didn't make sense, that solution. But I guess that was part of my bargaining. It was a way that I could still hold on to, even if it wasn't the house or the relationship, at least my studio. I do feel my music studio was, and I built a music studio from scratch. I made the walls and everything. I made windows, double glass windows with different, they weren't parallel. They had this angle so that the frequencies and wouldn't build up. And I made this battery stand with tires, and I turned a wine cellar into frequency traps. So I gave a lot to myself building that studio, and so I think that was the hardest part for me. So I tried to hold on to it for a while, but then I decided, okay, no, I have to let this go. And then when I wrote this song, that was in April, I think I was already going through depression. I was already feeling very sad. And I told this before, there was like this month, in March, I was already feeling very sad, but I was also very tired, and I slept a lot. And but actually, thinking about that right now, one of the symptoms, and I went through a period of depression back in 2015, and when I'm depressed, I sleep too much. Some people lose sleep when they're depressed. Some people can't sleep. I sleep too much, and when I sleep too much is when I'm depressed. I just want to sleep. I don't want to get out of bed. So I'm the other way around. And some people are just like that. It's just like eating. When some people are depressed, they feel like eating, and I'm the other way around. When I'm depressed, I feel like not eating. I don't eat. So yeah, I went through depression when I wrote this song. And then they mentioned testing and acceptance. And I was searching for what they meant by testing. And what they mentioned by testing, I think makes sense. It's kind of a reconstruction. It's like testing solutions. It's like testing what works out for you on this new life. And I do feel like I started making sense of things and testing around 3-4 months ago. Yeah, 4 months, more 4 months. So back in June, July, I started looking at things differently. And one major difference that made me move on, because on here, when I wrote this song, I was in a really dark place, and I felt like I wasn't moving on. And what made the difference is that I stopped fighting with the pain. I just accepted it. And there was a big friend of mine that recommended me some books that helped me immensely. And the book that most helped me was The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And that book totally changed my perspective and made me notice that I was actually feeding those negative thoughts and negative cycles, and that I had the choice to not feed them, to realize when I was on automatic pilot and to consciously choose to do different. And that's when I started getting out of that dark place. And I started going on a date here and there, not very actively, because I felt like I wasn't still, I don't know. I felt like my priority was getting back on track, was not going on dates or finding someone else. And, and finally I got to a place that, I felt good. That, I mean, I won't say like acceptance. Of course, there's acceptance, but it comes in waves. I'm not saying that my grief is fully over. I do feel it's running out, in a sense that when I have negative thoughts or when I feel sad, it doesn't stay for a long time. It's just sometimes, just comes a period or a thought or an emotion, and I feel, and then it goes away very quickly. It just stays sometimes for a few seconds, sometimes for a few minutes, and that's it. And I feel a lot happier than sad. And I guess that's what they say. It's the beginning of the acceptance phase, is when you begin to feel a lot happier than sad. And yeah, I feel like I'm on that place. I've been on that place for the last 3 months of my life. And really looking forward for what's coming. And that's it. So that was it about grief. And I do feel the best thing you can do about grief is just accepting the stage you're in. Don't try to force it. Don't get angry with yourself. Don't believe that there's a standard period for grieving or for any of the stage. You're your own person. You have your own feelings. It's up to you. And of course, the best thing you can do is accepting things for what they are. Don't try to fight it, and accept. Okay, if you're going through anger, accept your anger. And you can still own up to your actions. There are healthy ways to release anger. In my case, the way I deal with all these feelings is music. Music for me was always my escape, my way of dealing with my emotions. But of course you can do other things. There are many ways of expressing emotions healthily without discharging your emotions into someone else. And that's a big one, okay? But the secret is that it's just accept it. Accept what you're feeling. Don't try to suppress it. Don't try to act happy for your friends. Just accept where you are. Then don't let anyone tell you that you should be doing this or that. I mean, you can ask for advice, you can follow advice, but in the end, you are your own person and you have your own emotions, and that's just the way things are. You just have to accept where you are and believe that it's one day at a time. It's one day at a time.